Greetings loyal subscribers and honoured guests. This week I have a review of a new Xbox Game Pass release brought to us by Microsoft Studios and the developer Interior Night. This is a narrative adventure game in a very similar style to the works of Quantic Dream, and several of the key staff members came over from that studio to set this one up, so it does make a lot of sense. However, as Dusk Falls differs from those games by delivering a more grounded story as opposed to something more in the realms of science fiction or horror in the case of similar works from Supermassive games. This makes for a refreshing change, and a few minor irritations aside, as Dusk Falls manages to deliver an exciting, satisfying tale. As the game is so dependent on its storyline and the surprises held within, I'm going to try to keep this review as spoiler-free as possible and only include footage from the first few chapters. I've also only played through the game from beginning to end once because I like to have ownership over the choices I make and keep my playthrough as the one true version of events that my characters went through. All that being said, let's get on with the review. Throughout As Dusk Falls, you will be taking control of a bunch of different characters, but in the early stages the focus is mostly on Vince and the Cult brothers. Vince is in the process of moving his family, comprising of his wife, his daughter and his dad, across the country and is just about to reach the town of Two Rock. Meanwhile, the three Cult brothers, Jay, Tyler and Dale, are in the process of breaking into the local sheriff's house. When their plans go slightly awry, they have to make a quick exit, and while fleeing in their car, they end up running Vince and his family off the road. With their car damaged and unable to move anywhere that day, Vince's crew have no choice but to hike all the way to the nearest motel and ask for assistance. The Cult brothers are now on the run and becoming increasingly desperate, and end up arriving at that very same motel to take hostages so they can bargain their escape with the local police. And so the game proper begins. From there, things become increasingly tense as Vince tries to balance the needs of his family alongside trying not to antagonise the cults while still trying to think of a way that they can all make it out of there unscathed. Like other similar games of this type, you will frequently be presented with important choices that you need to make that will have an impact on the way the overall story pans out. Quite often, if you hold off from making your decision right away, another secret option may present itself, which is quite frequently the right way to go. I do have a problem with this system though. The game does put a time pressure on you to make a decision, and it leaves it just slightly too long to offer these extra story options. So I would frequently make a decision just as the extra one was appearing on screen, and then wish I had made that choice instead. So my recommendation for anyone playing this game for the first time would be don't make your choice too soon, just hold on for a few seconds and see if your character thinks of something better. As well as dialogue choices, you will also have to complete quick time events frequently, but most of the time these aren't too tricky to beat and amount to pushing in a particular direction, pressing or mashing a button. As long as you are paying attention, you will probably pass these. If you are at all familiar with other games of this ilk, then nothing about the gameplay will really surprise you here. What helps to set As Dusk Falls apart from its peers is the visual style. Interior Night have decided to go for a very low frame style, where they have taken real people and locations as their basic starting point, but have then created digital paintings of them that look quite striking. The first time I saw this visual style in the trailers that were shown at various Microsoft events, I really wasn't too sure about it and was worried it would give the game a bit of a cheap, made for mobile devices kind of feel. In the actual game though, there is a lot more animation present than I thought there would be. Things like cars, etc. have full frames of animation as they move, and individual parts of the characters like their hair are animated in the wind. So I believe they genuinely chose this art style for creative reasons rather than budgetary constraints. Having spent about 6 hours with it, I have got used to it and like it a lot. The voice work of the characters is also pretty good with the exception of the younger version of Zoe, Vince's daughter. Her acting just isn't very convincing, especially compared to the adult cast. Anyone who has played the last few Deus Ex games will recognise Vince's voice right away, as it is that of Adam Jensen. I wasn't familiar with anyone else in the cast, but with the exception of Zoe, they all do a solid job.
We have to stay real quiet. There. That one came from the hall.
Why are we hiding?
Because I don't know what else to do.
Hey, it's me. It's Vince. I'm coming in.
Daddy!
I didn't hurt her. I promise.
I know. I heard. Zoe, you okay?
Daddy, I don't want to be here anymore.
Remember what I told you? It's okay to be scared. Let it all out, Pumpkin.
The soundtrack is comprised of original cinematic compositions and licensed tracks, and it fits in well with the style of the story and the desert setting. The songs that close out each chapter stand out in particular as they are well chosen to reflect the unfolding events in the story. Twitch streamers, of course, have the option to disable the licensed music so they don't get flagged for copyright infringement, something that is becoming increasingly vital. As Dusk Falls also offers a very extensive range of multiplayer options. You can play the game in couch co-op with 3 other people, and you have the option to use either your conventional controllers or connect your mobile phone, Jackbox Party Pack style. You can also play in a party over Xbox Live, or enable full Twitch integration and allow your viewers to vote on the final decisions your characters make by entering a number that corresponds to the choices on screen. I tried this out a little bit when Nextlander was playing the early parts of the game, and it works pretty well. Interior Night really have covered all their bases when it comes to giving multiplayer options, and while I did play the entire campaign by myself, I did see it would be great fun to gather a group of people together and play through the story. As I mentioned earlier, it took me approximately 6 hours to beat one playthrough of As Dusk Falls in its entirety. There are 6 individual chapters and each one takes roughly 1 hour to play, so it can be treated like an interactive TV series really. After you beat each chapter the first time, you are presented with a narrative tree on the screen which shows the path that you took through the events and gives you easy access to jump back into key scenes and make other choices to see what the outcome would be. While I do think that this is a good thing to offer players, I prefer not to do this. For those concerned about getting their money's worth from the game, exploring the other paths could be a good option, though if you were playing via Game Pass like I was, then the short runtime is not really an issue because you have tons of other games to be getting on with as part of your subscription. Overall, I was left feeling satisfied with the story I had just played, but excited at the prospect of there being more. Whether we get a direct sequel or another game along similar lines from Interior Night, I am confident that they can do it justice and deliver another hit like this one. I'm going to give As Dusk Falls an 8 out of 10 and recommend that anyone with Game Pass at least check it out for a bit to see if it might be their sort of thing. That brings another episode to a close though. I still have many more things on the horizon, including a Budget Bangers episode about Killzone Shadowfall, and switchy tasty episodes about Live Alive and eventually Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please consider liking the video, leaving a comment, subscribing to the channel and sharing on social media. I'll be back with a retro video next week and another modern one the week after, so I hope you'll join me for those. In the meantime, take care.
For most people, Turok is just a pit stop.
Wasn't taking the scenic route your idea?
But for us, it felt like a trap.
There's enough cash in that safe to put the last few weeks behind us. On the ground, now!
You were in the wrong place at the wrong time. We've been in the wrong place forever.
Sometimes doing the right thing is doing the wrong thing.
I've got eyes on 2 hostages.
None of us escaped that night.
It's okay.
Even those of us who made it out alive.
Stop! Why are you following me?
We've taken very different paths in life. But they all lead back to Turok.
Get rid of the cop. Hey there.
Evening.
Hey, Sam.
Say, you haven't seen 3 fellas in a blue pickup, have you?
Nope. Been here all day.
How you liking the desert dream?
Oh, can't complain.
Can I ask what brings you to Turok?
Thank you.